No, baby, that's for somebody else. We're just gonna keep you right where you're at right now.
It doesn't matter what you think.
The Wrestling Wrealm presents Break It Down with Brian H.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this episode of Break It Down with Brian H. This is a special episode. Why? Because it is a collaboration with three dope dudes and a mic. I'm your host, Brian H. Waters, and on today's show, you'll hear me being joined by Valance Michael, Ronald James, and Blake Thomas. So sit back and enjoy the collaboration of Break It Down with Brian H. and three dope dudes and a mic. All right, folks, as promised, a collaboration. So y'all heard me talk about three dope dudes and a mic. Well, I'm blessed to have those three dope dudes right here with me. On my left, I got Ronald James.
What's up?
In front of me, Valance Michael.
Oh,
and next to me, y'all know Blake.
Yeah,
What's up, fellas?
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me.
I feel we were here before, okay?
Oh, yeah.
we was we was on before when was it all? I don't think Ronald was there at the time. When we went to go see a wrestling event.
That was in a car, though.
And we recorded in a car.
Oh, that's really cool.
That's when we was with two champs and
I had my date. Which,
yeah.
That didn't go anywhere.
That's why I ain't want to say nothing.
I saw her one more time after that. Gave her like this super awkward kiss, and
But you kiss on the eye?
No, it was just one of those. It's just like double
kiss on the eyelid.
First off, now I see when Blake and Ronald always say, "I wish y'all could see what Valance is doing."
Yeah. The act out.
I gotta act out everything.
You did the act out like on Don't Be a Menace, but he was getting jumped in. Yeah.
Get out the gate.
Yeah.
All right. So, fellas, it's Royal Rumble season. Last year, that's when I think Blake made his debut. It's also, when it's Royal Rumble season, that means we're coming up on Blake's birthday.
Yep.
This year it falls on your birthday?
No, it's actually the day before.
Day before.
Okay.
Any plans?
No. No, I just want to go get food. Like, everybody asking me what I want to do. I really just like to get food because I want to enjoy 37 with a bang with food.
I hear that. So,
37.
any early predictions for the show?
Oh.
Man, you look young as shit.
I know, man.
Hey, man.
I know your classmates probably look like bloated corpses on the ocean.
It might. The weight loss made my neck long.
He took 10 years off his life.
Yeah.
Black don't crack.
Yeah. Early predictions, I'm going to continue to go with I'm predicted, and I want it to happen, the Shayna Baszler winning the Women's Royal Rumble.
That's on brand for him to say the ladies first.
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
I would have to agree with you on that one. I would pick Shayna as well. Yeah. I like for it to be a surprise to me being young.
Oh, that'd be a good surprise.
That would be a great surprise.
What if it was a bad reputation song comes on and Ronda Rousey comes
I
on?
would be cool with that. I'm okay with her coming back.
I'm
Man.
okay with that too.
Yeah,
I'm okay with coming back. I don't want her to win.
I don't want her to dominate. I think I have a problem with that level of domination.
I mean, she walked into the WWE with a Royal Rumble win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
WrestleMania win.
No, I know she never been in Royal Rumble. I'm
Oh,
saying
yeah.
she just had
She
like
took
the
the moment.
profile.
Took the moment.
Yeah. And she was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm a champion."
I'm gonna point at the sign.
She stole thunder. That is weird.
I mean, does anybody really remember that Asuka won that and then the streak would end against Charlotte?
No.
You think about
No.
Ronda Rousey's debut.
You're absolutely right, man.
But yeah, I'm thinking more so, I think Shayna Baszler is just the money pick. When you really think about all that she's done, there's nothing else left for her to do on the NXT roster. So I think it's her main roster time, and it's really time to see Shayna Baszler do her thing. So that's my prediction as well.
This is the money. Is that future Blake booking?
Okay.
Shayna wins.
Mm-hmm.
There's money in Shayna versus Becky because now they get one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
Shayna beats Becky. Next night on Raw, Ronda comes. Ronda congratulates us, but is looking at that belt, and Shayna's like, "Why you trying to steal my thunder?" You tease that because the world wants to see Shayna versus Ronda. Nobody, you don't want to see 4 Horsemen versus 4 Horsemen anymore. You might want to think you want to see it, but trust me, you don't.
All right, Vince McMahon. I tell you what you want to see.
I don't want to see that anymore.
There's more money in Shayna versus Ronda.
I believe that.
You know.
But would it be a good match is the question.
Because of the close friendship they have, and just because they're both hard workers, I think they would pull off a really good match.
You just saying they would be good kissers. Would it be a good fight?
Yeah, I think it'd be a good fight.
Good friends
That's actually a
sexually
fight
attracted to each other. Would it be a good match?
I think it would be a good match. I actually would love to see them fight in real life. As just not like awesome. We hate each other, but like an MMA fight. I'd love to see.
I mean, I think that's what the match will turn into.
Yeah.
It's a good MMA.
As long as they don't go Brock Kane route.
Yeah.
You know,
I never want to see anything like that ever.
It still stains my heart.
Yeah.
To this day.
Well,
Yeah,
that's what WWE do. Bro.
I think it would be a good matchup, and you bring up a good point because the thing is, we have to call for what it is. Women are getting older; their time in the ring isn't as long as men's time. Generally, because not so much because they can't hold up, but sometimes they want to go have babies. We see Charlotte Flair and Andrade is together. Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins are together. Eventually, they may want to have children. So that whole dream matchup of the 4 horsewomen versus the 4 horsewomen is probably losing its steam. It's losing its fire. They couldn't take advantage of the moment because the other ladies wasn't ready. Yeah. So I do think that it would be really cool to see Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler, and just think about what you could do with Shayna in this case, because now you're reintroducing her to the MMA audience that watched that came over for Ronda, but also to the crossover appeal. So now you're making another star.
And now everybody would get to see that Shayna is hands down one of the 3 pioneers of women's MMA.
I thought you were about to say that Shayna's hands down better than Ronda.
Well, I mean, I think she is. But
Chuck E. Cheese.
This will be a good event to kind of kick off her moving up too. I mean, like this will be if this winds up being an epic match.
Yeah.
Then her appearing on the main roster might be a big damn deal, especially if it's done right.
And what about this dude rumble?
Okay, with me, I really hope it'll be a shock. I know this is a long shot. I would love for them to have Drew McIntyre win since he's getting this new push. So, but
you stole my thunder. So now I got to go with my second pick.
Ice Train.
No. Jordan? I want to see Bobby Lashley do it. I'm one that's still holding on for hope for Lashley versus Lesnar. And I think with Lana there, I've been saying this for weeks, that Lana is somebody who should be helping Lashley get to that main event. This relationship has to benefit him in some way, shape, or form.
It's more so that he's been benefiting her.
Yeah, and I know he's like showing lately that he's a man because every week he puts her in her place some way, shape, or form. But when I think of somebody with a manager, I think of them being able to elevate. You look at Sherry Martel with an early Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Luna and Bam Bam.
Yeah, Luna and Bam Bam. And now look at Andrade and Zelina Vega.
Yeah.
You put Lana with Lashley. Lana should be taking Lashley to the promised land, getting him over the hump, using her privilege to get him indoors that he couldn't get into before.
That's true. I mean, let's face it. He's incredible in the ring. His mic skills are lacking, and anybody without eyebrows needs a manager.
That's true. I 100%
I can't do it. You walking around with no eyebrows?
He has tattoo brow, right? I think it's tattoo.
Is that what you call those?
It's tattoo brow.
Okay.
Kind of arched.
But who do you have winning the Rumble?
Let me think. Is old boy in it?
Oh boy.
Not the Fiend. The Demon.
Oh, Finn?
Is Finn in it?
They haven't announced anybody for NXT in it yet, but NXT will be in it.
So if Finn is in it, I would like Finn to win. I just want to see that. I want 2020 to be his year.
Finn for the win?
Yeah, you do a lot for Finn. You know, I hope he knows that.
He would be the perfect NXT person to win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if
there were to be an NXT.
Yeah, and I think that would be the perfect person because he's somebody that's been on the main roster. He's been in the main event of SummerSlam before. So I think that would be actually perfect.
He's incredible on the mic too. I think he's underrated for promos.
He's been really good. They did announce him versus Gargano at TakeOver in February.
That's going to be a good match.
So, and he's wrestling Eli Dragunov at Worlds Collide, which for me personally, I can't wait. But that's just me. Just me.
Right.
Valance, you're up.
So based on what we've been seeing in wrestling lately, like we're not going to get that WrestleMania story this year, right? Where it's like the underdog went through everything to get to this place to have this WrestleMania match. I don't see that happening. I don't see them developing that between now and then. Okay?
In several days from now.
And forever. Now, then, and forever. I don't see that happening. So, because I think it's too soon for Ricochet.
Okay.
Because that's the only person that's been kind of that champion. Like, let's
the
get him
dog
up there.
role.
Yeah. Brock Lesnar, Mr. Delivery Man himself.
Oh man, he goes from one and do it.
I would not hate that.
I wouldn't hate it either. I wouldn't hate it if he challenged himself.
I feel like that's why he's in it.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm bored.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'm one that I will say this all the time. I want to see the championship there every week. I wasn't around during the NWA days, and when WWE superstars, I remember it, but you saw Hogan, you just didn't see him wrestle.
You promoted your champion.
Yeah.
You had a reason for him to be there every night, even if he wasn't
And
wrestling.
I'm more of an attitude era kid, where Stone Cold Steve Austin was there every night. The Rock, Triple H, they were there every night. I want to see a championship there every night. Even the thing The Fiend is doing, he might not be on TV, but he's still there. The Fire Funhouse is still there.
Right.
So if Lesnar won, even though I'm not like happy that he's always like the champ that's never there, this would actually be funny. Like kind of like when he won Money in the Bank.
Right.
Yeah.
I still kind of want the scenario in my heart to happen of Bray Wyatt enter and then Bray Wyatt winning and then challenging The Fiend. And The Fiend versus Bray Wyatt being the main event of WrestleMania.
So how would you do that
CG
match?
What?
You say he's going to CGI the match?
CGI the match. Tell everybody it's just going to be on the screen. Or just, I don't know. Look, I've seen people wrestle the Invisible Man.
Just do it.
Like he slams, goes under the ring, puts the mask on, clothesline, goes under the ring.
I would not mind a CGI match.
I mean, every time they tried, you remember the special effects when we was at WrestleMania 33?
Yeah,
they ain't really going too well with the crowd, So I don't know.
If Bray's family comes together again. I mean, that would be.
They keep teasing it.
I mean, the idea of that happening is really cool.
It would be a new family too, because Luke's not there anymore.
Yeah.
You know who needs to win the Royal Rumble? Braun Strowman.
I thought you were going to say Kofi Kingston.
Braun, but here's the thing.
He won one.
Yeah, he technically won the greatest, but no, he needs it more than anything. But I think that's going to be the show where they put the Intercontinental title on him when he beats Shinsuke.
He needs.
I think
Has
Braun.
he had any championships yet? Aside from tag team? That's it? No single one, bro.
That's it, right?
That's insane. That's insanity.
Was he 24/7 champ?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Braun might be too. I have a theory, man. He's big. He might be too big. He's almost like a sideshow.
That
big,
never stopped
level
WWE
of big.
before.
But for winning things, who?
Well, it's like
Big
Eric
Show.
Bischoff said.
It's
hard to get
Big
simple
Show
on those
Big Show
people.
had the talent.
Kane,
Wasn't as big as Big
Undertaker.
Show.
Grand Khali.
Yeah, great
Come
comment.
on, man.
That's
He
only a
was a
couple
world
people.
champion.
Think about all the wrestlers that have
He
existed.
shot motherfuckers in the head.
Think
That
about
was-
all of the wrestlers that have existed, right?
They're that size, Ronald.
Kurgan.
No, but I
That's the
understand
only-
what
You get what I'm
Ronald's
saying,
saying,
though?
though.
I
It's-
get what you're saying.
He's also big and stiff. The only person that's as big and stiff as him is Khali.
But he can move way
Yeah,
better.
he
though.
move way better than
Way
Khali.
better.
Yeah.
He can
But,
run. Big Show
but I'm
can't-
talking about big and stiff.
Big Show can't run. He could run around the ring. Big Show can't run across the ring.
But big and stiff.
Never could.
I really feel like there's something that's happening where like that thing of him liking big, huge people, it doesn't exist quite as much as it used to.
Yeah.
It used to be a real thing. Now he likes small, fit people.
Because that's all that's there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, he can hire big people,
He
but
could, but name a big person in the Indies right now, size-wise, that you want to see in WWE.
I don't. But he can create them.
But
Well, for me,
That
it would
creating
just be
thing
Jeff
used to
Cobb.
exist. They used to do
WWE
this.
has not created.
Yeah, you're right. They haven't created
anything
somebody in a while.
long time.
The
And how big is Roman Reigns?
Well,
Roman's still ain't there.
Roman's not even as big as the Usos right now.
These people aren't that big. Like Undertaker, Kane, they aren't big people. They're like kind of 6'4", 6'5",
What?
6'4", 6'5".
Who?
How big is Undertaker?
6'7", at least 6'8".
He's
I think.
not 6'8" in
Build
real
it-
life.
No, I'm saying he's built
He's like
6'10" and a
wrestling.
half.
You
But
know that
I feel like he's about 6'8",
he's
6'9".
NBA big, where they add 2 inches to him. So he's probably like 6'5".
I mean, well, they said Adam Cole's 6 feet, and I know I'm
Yeah.
taller than Adam Cole.
Like, there's
so-
no way.
Yeah.
They add the height.
I don't think they added that much to Taker, though.
Taker ain't 6'8" though.
You're not giving him 6'8"?
I'm not
They
giving him
said
6'8".
6'10".
How big is Braun? Braun's like 6'8".
No, Braun big.
Yeah,
Braun's like 6'8".
Braun
You
big.
see Braun in real life. Braun's got to be like 6'8".
Yeah.
You know.
So say if Braun's a real 6'8",
Mm-hmm.
and Undertaker's like a couple inches smaller. There's something about like that size person they're not really focusing on quite as much.
Well,
as
like,
they used
you
to.
know, Eric Bischoff did say it's harder to get that sympathy because he's big enough where he
Yeah.
doesn't have to cheat.
Braun Strowman.
But then it's also hard, like, are you going to sympathize for a big man? Like, you're big as hell. You
Yeah.
need to be beating him up. So,
Braun
but,
Strowman is 6'8". Undertaker is 6'10".
What?
yeah, but like I said,
He towers over. Undertaker does not tower over Braun Strowman.
That's what the internet says.
What? Then you see what I'm talking
wasn't
about.
on that Wikipedia.
They see what I'm talking about, like
Yeah.
true big men. I'm
The
not
Rock
talking.
is 6'5". Hulk Hogan was 6'5", wasn't he?
Well, yeah.
He's like 6'6", 6'7".
Well,
Then he
Hogan,
dropped 3 inches.
yeah, he dropped 3 inches because his back.
Oh,
And
damn.
then, you know,
Like Undertaker.
This has Hulk Hogan at 6'7".
Yeah,
Great Khali was 7'1".
that makes sense.
Batista was 6'6".
Well, you got to think.
But
the
this is what I'm
biggest-
talking about, like true big men. I'm talking about like big, like
That wrestle
big
the
show.
big man style.
Big
too.
men,
Yeah.
like
Big Show 7 foot, Kane 7 foot.
Okay,
WWE champions.
so those two people, right? So let's say two big men, right?
mm-hmm.
And you got Braun.
Roman Reigns is 6'3". How's that possible?
He looks
Yeah,
huge.
Triple H
right?
is taller than him.
Yeah.
Triple H is bigger than him. So
So I want somebody like him to win, but it doesn't seem like they really put stock in the big man anymore, quite like they used
well,
to.
it's not to me. It's not going to be.
He's charismatic as hell.
He
It's not-
is, but like, can you see like us going crazy at WrestleMania party or somewhere? Braun Strowman is finally champion. You know what I mean? Like we had that
Damn
for
it.
when Stone Cold
You might
Steve
be
Austin
right.
won the title. We had that when Kofi Kingston won the title. Daniel Bryan. Roman fans had that with him, even though it's probably a smaller amount. Seth Rollins fans had that with him in 2015, but I just can't see that type of pop. Like I never really got it when Big Show would win the title.
Mm.
They took, and plus they took
Tyson
the
Fury
Braun
6'9".
moment from us.
Which one?
The
He's
Braun
really that big?
when Braun, we thought he was going to win at the greatest.
I thought he was
Yeah.
smaller
yeah,
than that.
so you know who you
Tyson
say
Fury
Tyson?
6'9".
Yeah, Tyson Fury's like one of the tallest guys in boxing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I thought he was like 6'5", 6'6".
He's a big dude.
Now, how tall is Deontay Wilder?
Yeah, Deontay Wilder has to
he's-
be really big.
Yeah,
then.
he's got to be around the same height, like 6'7".
Oh,
What?
Because he's taller than Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew he was taller.
Yeah.
Jeez, that makes sense why he moves the way that he does. The fact that he can move like that at his height is nuts.
Yeah.
Is he coming back, you think?
Who?
Tyson?
You got to think about it like this from a business standpoint. Would you put stock in Tyson Fury? Because this fight is happening in February.
Mhm.
It's just like the Tyson Douglas thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Deontay Wilder is Tyson Fury, if I'm WWE, I'm not bringing Tyson Fury back. But if
Yeah,
it's
you will.
vice versa,
Yeah.
the money's in bringing him back. So you got to wait until
You gotta
after
wait.
February.
That's true.
Damn.
But let's stick in with the Royal Rumble. Thinking about the WWE Championship match, we got Daniel Bryan and The Fiend
In a strap.
in a strap match.
Strap match.
What?
I don't get having a strap match with a Fiend.
Me,
I don't get that either.
I guess unless you want to stay connected to him or something,
But I
but
wouldn't want to stay connected to the Fiend.
right. So I'm not really sure why. Now you guys know I'm a huge Daniel Bryan fan.
Yeah.
I'm not going to like. This is one of those things where I would understand him not winning the championship, even though you root for your favorite wrestlers. But as Valance is showing us that looks like
It looks like they're the same height.
Undertaker
does,
and Strowman
but
are about the same height.
Braun got a little teeny bit over, like slight.
See, when they did the Undertaker's height, they had his hat on.
Yeah.
Right.
I this is the thing that I think is interesting about this Bray Wyatt Daniel Bryan strap match. It kind of, I don't want to say it makes it an even playing field, but it gives Daniel Bryan a better chance because if you run around the ring enough, depending on what kind of strap match it is, if it's the traditional
The turnbuckle.
turnbuckles, you can just try your best to run around from that crazy fool and tap the turnbuckles.
And next thing you know, you're
Yeah,
WWE
you're WWE
Universal Champion.
You know, Universal Champion. But I'm just going to make one request. Don't do this strap match with that red light. Please.
You think they're going? I think they're
I
going
think they
to.
are.
I've never been a fan of any of the strap matches I've seen.
Neither.
Really?
It sounds like a bad idea.
It always, to me, was even the cowbell
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
It's not a
No.
good idea.
Yeah.
No, Never enjoyed those.
Yeah.
I mean, people, I'm a huge fan of Rock and Triple H series, but now you just reminded me. I was like, I didn't really care for that match.
They had a few, but they don't stand out.
Yeah.
They don't stand out.
Now,
I don't even like shit on the pole.
Neither. If Daniel Bryan and The Fiend can make this a good match, then I'm all about it.
Right.
But we're starting in the negative already. We're starting in a place where, like, we have not seen a good strap match. And then they're trying to make this a good thing. I'm already not looking forward to this match.
What was their first match? Was it just a regular match?
It's just a regular match.
Okay. I'm not a fan of all of Fiend's matches being a gimmick match either.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
they need to slow down with that.
And remember, they were supposed to have a rematch at TLC, and word on the street is Daniel Bryan didn't want to do it because he didn't want to just throw away the story. He wanted to keep this going. So that had me thinking, like, well, what if somehow they carry this into WrestleMania?
It's possible.
That would be cool.
So I wouldn't mind it. But then at that point, you would think Daniel Bryan's winning the championship. But like Blake always say, you feel like the Fiend gonna hold the title forever.
Yeah, I don't think he's. Even if and it's funny because none of us said Roman winning the Rumble, but even if they do go Roman, I don't even think Roman would beat the Fiend. Not right now. I don't think it's the right time to take that stranglehold off the championship yet.
They should.
Yeah.
I wouldn't hate that the Roman one.
No, I wouldn't hate that either. The fact that we aren't paying attention to him is kind of a cool thing. Because if he winds up winning, it'll surprise everybody. Yeah. I like that Roman isn't in the conversation the way that he used to be. Because that gives him more opportunity to do cool stuff.
Yeah.
Sticking with Roman, though, because he's been in this marriage, essentially, with Baron Corbin, since he's literally...
His name is King Corbin.
Excuse me, I forgot his number one fan.
Yeah.
Corbin, if you listen to you, It's Blizz, a shout out on Twitter.
Yeah.
He's been in the conversation with him literally since he's got back from his injury, sickness.
Yeah.
And it's every time, but I think now I'm like, okay, can we wrap this up? But
that's fair.
Because I'm looking at, you got Robert Roode and Roman had their little instance. I'm like, why couldn't we get a pay-per-view match between them two? I want to know how you guys feel about it.
Robert Roode's not a king. He's great, but he's not a king.
He came back a little vicious, man. I think they should do more.
I like the stable.
Yeah,
those three.
Yeah.
I've said this before. I don't get the Corbin thing, man. I don't get what it is that... What are they selling us about him?
He's the king.
Tell me why he's a good champion. Why he's a good wrestler.
Because in the WWE universe right now, name somebody else that does not want to actually get cheered, that does not go out of his way to be cool, and actually acts like a heel.
I love an ugly champion. I'm gonna tell you that. He has a funny face. But that's important because untraditional look. I should say that, man. There's something about what he is, but I'm not getting. Something ain't fitting, and maybe what I think it has to do with. It's who he hasn't had a rivalry that I'm like this.
That you're really into it.
And I think that'll make it.
Yeah,
I don't make it
because this thing with him and Roman has been good. And this is the key factor about him and Roman. Mm-hmm. He's winning the feud. Every time they compete, he's winning. Okay. Which is doing this is that thing about the business where everybody wins. It's raising his stock, but then when Roman finally wins, if it's at the Royal Rumble in this Falls Count Anywhere match, now his stock goes back up too. So nobody loses.
Yeah. And
you help elevate the Robert Roodes and the Dolph Ziggler's too. So everybody involved in the feud is good. The only person that lost was the dog food. So, that's it.
You see how the Usos was like really upset? Like, I think they were like legit upset about that. They was like, nah, man, that was like real dog food. Like, they sitting at home watching their cousin. Yeah. I mean, Valance, Ronald, you imagine seeing somebody, you watching Ronald on TV and somebody throwing dog food on him. Or Blake, you sitting there, you see somebody throwing dog food on them too. You gonna be ready to go straight. It's like, what's up?
That has to be
upset. Hit you on a text like,
what were you doing? This chick better be worth it.
It's refreshing too to see the Usos back. They look in the best shape of their lives. Yeah. A friend of mine that I'll leave anonymous. She said it was stress weight. That put them in that.
How old are they? How old are the Usos?
I think they're around my age, 33ish.
They're in the early 30s.
They seem to be doing some young dumb shit.
Yeah. Well, I love the new haircuts. Gave them a new look. I think they fresh to death.
Okay.
But yeah, they are, they learning from their mistakes. They beat the case.
Hopefully.
You know,
man,
I hope so.
you gotta beat the case.
Yeah, well, they talked about on
They can
backstage.
charge
Where,
me, but they can't.
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
you know, you gotta. They said they gotta be role models for their kids. And
That's
I think
cool,
that's. You look. Everybody knows about that dynasty and that family.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be messing up. You don't want to be the one on the outside.
Yeah.
Not that dynasty.
Not especially when everybody's on board with you.
Yeah, especially when they're a good tag. It's not like they're like a bad tag. They're really good.
I mean,
Really fun to
I
watch.
always say this. Would you guys agree that they are Rikishi's greatest contribution to the business? And
Yeah.
that's no knock on all the
Yeah.
good stuff he did, whether it
You
was
take his cheeks out and put his kids in place of those cheeks.
Probably the
He had a
smelliest matches of all time, man.
Everybody always said that they weren't.
I can't.
Well, he's gone on record and said that if it was somebody he didn't like, he would
Oh,
give him a dirty thong.
Yeah,
Oh.
definitely. Yeah. So shout
I
out
would shoot
to
him.
Yin and
He'd
Yang.
be my best friend. He wants that ass, like, right?
Hey, he's one of the nicest people. Like, he would love you guys, especially you guys make him laugh. What?
Oh
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
I was a Rikishi fan, man. So,
I was too.
he was dope.
Especially when he was with Too Cool.
Yeah.
I didn't like bad Rikishi with the
Did it for the Rock.
with
Like
the lugs sweatsuit, the
Yeah.
lugs, the lugs. Goddamn,
That was 2001
Hey.
indeed.
leather suit. You know,
Hey,
like-
Valance. He might have had that pleather suit, but that bad man theme was pretty on
Yeah.
point.
I did it for the rock.
When did he fall off the cage? When was that?
That was
What
Right
era?
around that time.
yeah.
That was crazy.
He left for a while.
And then he came back
And then
with
he
the suit
came
on.
back with
Yeah.
the lugs joint on. It just said Rikishi Crow. It was like fat farm lugs, state property. Like it was
Sean
Rockaway.
John,
Rockaway.
yep.
It was all in there.
Mhm.
Oh, man.
But yes, and what you say, yeah, I do think that Yin and Yang is their best contribution. For y'all that don't know, they told a story on backstage when they worked at Booker T's Reality Wrestling. They came in with Ember Moon and they didn't have any name yet. And Booker was like, "Don't worry about it, I have a name for y'all." And as they was going out of court and they still didn't have a name, and Booker's on the mic, he's like, "Introducing Yin and Yang with trouble." And that was Ember Moon's day. So
Ember Moon is dope, man.
Yeah,
Is she still injured?
yes, very serious.
I saw the some of the Booker T interview.
I hope she comes back soon. One of my favorite people.
I
And
was gonna say, shout out to her, man.
Yeah.
She's always good.
Get well soon.
Great to work with.
Shout out to Booker T and his luxurious. With your beard, luxurious, like good, like mine. You gotta get the Booker T. Beijing on his beard. Promo code Booker. Promo code King Booker.
it's all for the games till he sends you some.
Right.
Man, you sound just like me here.
Yo, can you dig that? Sucker.
Interesting enough, they did trademark Harlem Heat. I'm just saying.
Oh
WWE
wow.
did. Just saying.
Are we ready for one more Harlem Heat match?
I'm ready.
As
I'm
long
ready.
as Stevie Ray has the slapjack.
Remember that?
I mean, so would it be like they would go against the Revival?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Just to have it happen.
But see, now since the Usos was called Yin and Yang, they owe them a butt whooping.
Mhm.
And Stevie Ray just because he's Booker T's brother. You know?
But if Yin and Yang don't have trouble with them, it don't matter.
We want to put the brothers versus the brothers, and also we brothers.
Oh gosh. What else is that Royal Rumble?
Man, so I wanted to talk to you guys about the NXT women's division.
Mm-hmm.
Bianca Belair is the #1 contender.
Mhm.
We'll be facing Rhea Ripley.
Rhea Ripley. Is this a farewell match for Bianca Belair?
I think so, man.
Okay.
It's feeling like it's close to that time. I mean, it feels like she's hit her ceiling. You know, like
And I
in
thought last year
organization.
she was going to beat Shayna. I thought last year in January.
If there was a time to do it,
Yeah.
it was then.
Yeah.
I think she's not going. I think she is one of the best women's wrestlers in the company, and she's not going to get what she needs at NXT right now because she has spent most of that time making the other people look good.
Yeah.
And I think the only way that she's going to get what she deserves is finally on the main roster.
Yeah.
Here's a main fact too. WWE made. We would just talk about like, oh, who's WWE made? Da 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 da. They made Bianca Belair.
Well, they would do well with the women.
Right.
And,
that's
and I think Raw needs some help.
I was getting ready to say.
Why is she going to Raw? Because her husband is on Raw.
Exactly.
And you keep her away from Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
I think Raw needs help.
Yeah, and also too, we've seen it time and time again because she's wrestling Rhea Ripley at TakeOver, and TakeOver is not until February.
Mm-hmm.
So we've seen in times where somebody makes their debut on the main roster, but they'll still do their commitment at NXT.
Yeah.
So if she was somebody, let's just say, to pop up in a Rumble, then pop up on Raw, I think it'd be perfect for her. And yeah, look, she's gonna be the next big thing. You know, Charlotte, get ready. You know, because that spot that Charlotte be holding on to.
Get ready.
Bianca,
that's a bold statement.
Look, man, Bianca, she's a beast. You know?
Charlotte also needs the competition.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that would be
because I'm so annoyed. Now, it's not even with Charlotte. I'm annoyed right now of Becky versus Asuka, and Becky going at Asuka as if they're ignoring the last 2 years of Asuka's career.
Mm-hmm.
She's going at Asuka as if Asuka's the undefeated person from NXT. Like, no, we washed her down since then. It's actually not that serious.
Yeah,
but I get it.
It's an attempt to do that, but I think it's also in that sense hurting the women's tag titles.
Yeah,
and I guess because I'm the type of person that, like, anytime we play like a WWE video games, not this one they just released because they need to put that back in the factory. But I've always, like, whenever I would like create my pay-per-views, one of my rules was that all the titles had to be online.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's before they had like 30 belts,
yeah,
or 30 championships.
Before it became boxing.
Yeah, you know. But I feel like I would rather have seen like maybe Becky cost them the tag titles just so they can get them off of it. Maybe that'll happen on Raw, but that way we can get, you know, more at stake for this fight, you know, because Asuka really has no reason to fight. I mean, obviously, besides wanting the championship, but it's like, man, well, you cost me my title. Now I'm coming after yours.
Yeah. And then that gives the room for Asuka to remind her, you still haven't beaten me yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which she hasn't. That's what they're playing off too. Like, Becky's never beat Asuka. And look, I mean, Asuka's been a truth since the Indies, since the Kana days. And I'm telling you this now, we might not get Shayna versus Becky if I see Asuka come down the ring and she goes back to Zombie Kana when she had the zombie paint on. I'm picking Asuka to win if that happens, because that version of Asuka is the scariest one ever.
Long as I don't get Becky Lynch dropping the title and then winning the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, if that happens, I'd throw up.
Because I know everybody tries to say, oh, she's the most over person in wrestling. You know, they trying to make, if you didn't know any better, you would think, like, she's today's Stone Cold Steve Austin. She's not. Yeah. When Austin was hot. And, you know, they would take the title off of him, and they kind of preserved his heat as far as, you know, wanting to see him. But Becky, she's not somebody that I'm like, all right, I got to turn on TV to see what Becky Lynch did. Last year around this time, This year, it's like, oh, Becky Lynch is on TV.
Well, I mean, it's at that point now where it's like you kind of want that storyline to make her be the underdog again. So it's almost, she needs to lose the belt in order to get that, stay hot.
As we say in the industry, the money is in the chase with her.
Exactly.
And that's why she was so hot last year. Now that she didn't climb the mountain, you know, it's not what it was last year.
Yeah. You know, like, how many times did Stone Cold drop that title?
I look at Ric Flair made a career of it.
Right.
You know, I mean, he made Ronnie Garvin a world champion. Some people don't even know who Ronnie Garvin is.
Now, I'm glad you brought Ric Flair because we was talking about Charlotte. And that's what I thought they was attempting to do with Charlotte, with Sarah Logan. But the moment Charlotte put her robe back on and, like, dusted her feet, I was through. I don't know if anybody else. I'm like, I hate to use the word bury, but I felt like she, you know, put some dirt on Sarah Logan. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, I don't even call it bury anymore. I call it, you just killed the storyline.
Yeah.
Like, if you had somewhere to go, you just stopped it.
Yeah.
If this was supposed to go anywhere, now you made it not mean shit next week. Whatever you do next week is going to be silly.
And to go off of what you said earlier about how Raw needs help, all we needed was 2 weeks of Sarah looking strong against Charlotte.
That's it.
At the Rumble, Charlotte can eliminate her, but Sarah would still look strong.
Yeah.
Now it's just like when Sarah comes out, I'm like, well, Dana Brooke won't throw her out.
Yeah.
Well, look at Buddy Murphy, right? He's lost 3 matches to Aleister Black, but to me, he looked good in all of those losses.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
But somehow Aleister Black is not looking better.
Exactly.
You got a point there.
Because I'm a big Aleister Black fan.
Oh, okay.
Nothing's happening.
He's my pick. And this was, if besides what you just said, he was my pick that if somebody had to beat The Fiend when it was a time, I wanted it to be him. But like Valance was saying, this version of him, I'm like, y'all kind of hold him back a little bit.
Check back, man. I said something's missing.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
There's something missing about Aleister Black. There's a reason why you watch him win 3 times. Mm-hmm. There's something missing. There's something about his character or something.
Maybe
he obviously can wrestle his ass off.
But he wasn't really the most well-rounded character in NXT.
He
was way more entertaining.
I think he should be a heel because can you really connect with his character?
You're right.
I think he should be that heel that's trying to convince you that his way is the right way.
Yeah.
Everybody already knows looking at him. He's somebody that goes against the grain of everything.
Mm-hmm. I don't think everybody should be in a stable, but I think Aleister Black needs a stable.
I think he should be. I think he has to be in order for him to. He either has to be the leader of one or top tier of that group.
He needs to be Gangrel.
Oh, like a
better Gangrel.
Yeah. Like he needs a brood.
Like
and remember, his problem was that he didn't take advantage of what he had.
Yeah,
right. And he will even say that he was passive. Where Christian, the Edge, they knew Edge was money, so Edge didn't have to do anything, just stay clean. Christian fought, and that's how he was able to get his opportunities. And he said he wished he would have did that as opposed to just be like, okay, whatever you want me to do.
Right. Gangrel had a crazy moveset too.
He did.
He should have been way.
I mean, he had a great. We think back to Royal Rumble undercard matches, Royal Rumble 1999, him and X-Pac for the European Championship. That was a solid match.
Yeah, that's a great match.
And he has one of the greatest theme songs of all time.
He does.
Of all time.
It's better than...
Usher, with Gangrel.
Something too. When I think of Aleister Black, as you guys were talking, I was like, man, what is something that he would need? This is one of those things that if the fantasy were to come true and we had a CM Punk come back, if CM Punk came back as what he is, and then Aleister Black is like, well, I am what you were trying to be, and you get them feud of, trying to preach both their things, I think that's something that would help him. But I also think that's fantasy booking.
Yeah, you get some good matches in there.
You think CM Punk's ever going to come back?
I don't think CM Punk should come back in the state that wrestling is in.
Why?
Because what is it going to do? Besides be a novelty act for this amount of time, sell this few pay-per-views, and then it means nothing afterwards. We've seen this recipe so many times in the past few years.
What if he got low and got low? But what I mean by that is kind of humbled himself and just started wrestling. What if he went to NXT, stayed in that pocket for a little bit?
That's what Daniel Bryan should be doing right now, and Daniel Bryan's not even clicking like that right now.
I will think about it like this: what if, because he calls himself the best in the world? I'm not going to say if I agree or not, but if he's really the best in the world, what if he comes back and has the same thing that AJ Styles has been able to do? So what happens with that?
Sorry, y'all. Ronald just lost it. There's a flag on the play. We were sitting here watching the AFC Championship game, and the Kansas City Chiefs look like they've just wrapped up their trip to the Super Bowl.
I don't, man. That's the thing about it. That's the reason why this AJ Styles run is so great, is that very few other wrestlers were able to come in and do that.
It's only him and Jericho. Him and Jericho don't know what to do.
He's the only one.
So I just for that lightning to strike again, but look what Jericho had to do to make himself relevant again. You know what I'm saying? He did so much, and Punk was carrying that brand, because I wasn't even watching WWE around when Punk was in his heyday. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But he was carrying it through that time. Mm-hmm. I just it's possible. Yeah. Physically, they can do it.
Yeah.
I just don't see WWE allowing it to happen.
I don't know. My only hesitation is I don't think CM Punk will allow himself to be great. I think that he is his own worst enemy, man. His whole arrogance about being the best.
But whatever shit is about him that comes out that's truly him.
Yeah.
I think it can still work as a character.
You think so?
I think so. Especially if he continues to put on a great match and back it up in the ring. If you talk that shit, you go out there and botch, some of the best moves from other great wrestlers, not your shit. You don't botch your shit, you botch their shit. If you go out there and do that, then nobody wants to see you. But if you still backing it up in the ring and talk that
would be cool. I mean, if he, I would like to see him attempt to do something.
I just want
I
to.
would love to see him fight AJ.
I want to see his wife come back. I want a second AJ Lee run.
It just sucks because they are some of the pioneers of what we're getting, and they're not around to reap their own benefits
at all.
Yeah.
And that's what's heartbreaking, especially for AJ Lee.
Yep.
You know,
she pushed hard.
She pushed hard, and she loved wrestling. I mean, she got the day she won the Divas title tattooed. She loves wrestling, and I always felt that. Man, I hope, like, you know, I always root for marriages, but I'm like, I hope it works because she gonna regret it, and she gonna despise him if their marriage don't work because, you know, she followed him.
I don't think she necessarily just followed him, man. I think she had her heart broken by the industry.
That's a good point too.
Like,
point.
Yeah. And she saw what he was going through, the person that she loves, and the frustration that he was dealing with. And she was like, you know,
but you know,
she ain't that much better over here either.
Well, that's true, but considering that Paige was coming up, it was like you could see the cusp was on. We was like right there.
But remember, it stopped.
That's true.
But you know, it was coming up.
Yeah.
But it stopped.
But then
because it wasn't the women's revolution.
But in the backyard, NXT was doing that.
It was coming. Yeah,
you know,
it was a whole nother move brewing behind it.
Yeah.
But it became very Nikki Belly. Nikki Belly. It became very Nikki Belly.
I was just about to say, those great human beings, Nikki and Brito, they were the ones backstage that was like, we want those girls in NXT. We want those matches.
Yeah.
So those Bellas, put them in the Hall of Fame. You hear me? Put them in the Hall
I was
of Fame.
Going to say, like, around the
time
when Blake and I first met, this is 2012-ish, this is when, like, you had companies like Shine, and, you know, Shimmer was doing their thing, obviously, but you had Shine coming up, and you started seeing more women's wrestling feds starting to open.
Blow up.
Yeah. And then, when we saw NXT, the stuff that they were doing, we started seeing what we were seeing on the indies, where there was times where we would hear, like, people say, man, I don't want to go to WWE because I want it to be about my wrestling. Then WWE became the goal. And it was like, I just felt like AJ just left. Like, if you would have just, it's like that person who quits too soon. Like, if you would have just stayed there just a little bit longer, things would have been fine.
But yeah, man, I agree with that. You know, people are going through what they're going through, and she may felt like it wasn't worth it. But
you're right, and I didn't think about that point, you know.
That's a good point, man.
I do personally just hope if CM Punk comes back, and I mean, I know everybody else loves the song and everything. I personally hate Coda personality.
Why?
Ever since I was younger,
Black
I always
Band.
hated it. I hate that
Black
song.
Band.
I love that song. I don't love
Black
that song.
people.
I love that
making
he
good
comes out to
music.
I hate that song with a passion.
This is the best way to come out, man.
It is.
I hate that song so much.
Start with that guitar riff.
Gross.
What did you say about theme songs?
Yeah, you got to be able to sing them. Everybody of every race, every culture, every age has to be able to sing your song for your song to be successful to do music in the wrestling industry. Think about how many songs you've done. You know, look at that. You know?
Yeah, you're right.
Think about every song. You can sing X-Fox song and you don't even know what they say.
Can you sing Stone Cold's?
It doesn't need to be. The pain is only the beginning.
I missed that one Kane one.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
I forgot what band that was.
Slow Chemical?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a great song.
I need to go back and listen to it.
I mean,
go back and listen to it.
I'm so much of like a wrestling music nerd. Like, I'll blast this stuff in my car.
Yeah.
Riding through the hood of Baltimore City. I don't care. Listen, like,
look, it's like.
And then you see people like, you know, that secret closet wrestler fan that's like in every gang or every like hood group.
They ears perk up like,
Mm-hmm.
Like, what's that you doing, yo? Oh, I'm not.
Hey, fam, I recognize that.
Yup.
That was a good run.
Hey man, but it's like I told you, like when I grew up watching wrestling, I memorized the music. So when I was playing with my action figures, I made sure I got the entrances right.
Yeah.
Remember that terrible Titantron accessory?
Yeah.
With the toys that you
oh
get?
yeah, it was so terrible.
And you walk through and make the little
Yeah.
that horrible whatever was making the sound to sound like some paper.
It
was like, what is this?
I had a generic ring because I had a WWE ring, a WCW ring, and I had a generic one. And on the generic one, they had buttons on the side, so you would press it and they would like cheer. And then like you were supposed to press it on one and be like, and the winner is, and then it'd be like, and then it'd be like, boo, boo, boo. So
I used to hate that the WWE rings was out of scale compared to the action figures.
Yeah.
I hated that so much.
They talk about that on that Toys That Made Us.
Really?
There's a thing about scale and ring. That's a huge thing. You should watch. Yeah, it's like that. There's a whole special about the WWE toys and
And the people
Mr.
talk
Man
about
making deals and stuff.
they talk about the WCW figure, the original one.
Yo.
where if you had Luger, he was just like this.
he couldn't do anything.
So
with
how were you going to torture Ryan?
Right.
Because he's just like this.
it was a really good special. Man.
Jeez.
Yeah. It's funny because like my son has toys and they're so advanced. So shout out to the real Dwayne Allen. For Christmas one year, he bought him this Titantron set where it has like you put the iPad in there and it allowed him to walk down to their interest music with the themes, and it would give you like an app that you download so that it would, it would all sync together.
That's really cool.
If I could go back in time,
Right? Yeah.
just bring all these toys like, here, buddy. And he'd be like, thanks, Valance. I wasn't planning on growing up, and this helps.
That's really cool.
So I remember like one time I was listening to like Michael Smith and Jamel Hill, and they was talking about like the Toy Hall of Fame. I don't know if you heard about that.
No.
Yeah, I got to do like more research on it. But they had talked about like the Army men that's in the Toy Hall of Fame.
Lego is in there now.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I wonder if Ball in the Cup's in there. It's Ball in the Cup.
I kind of hope that Teddy Ruxpin's in there, but that's just me.
Teddy should be in there.
Teddy Ruxpin was amazing.
He made a comeback. And
I know he
was
looked
selling
different.
like crazy. Yeah, he didn't sound the same either.
No.
And you can no longer put a tape in his body.
Well, that's you lose it there.
Yeah.
You got to bring out some cassette tapes.
Yeah.
You gotta bring
I used to
tape
put
back.
like R&B tapes in him to see if he would.
I put Michael Jackson Bad in his back.
Yeah.
Right. Mama moving like.
But we was talking about wrestling, and we was talking about like couples in wrestling. We mentioned Charlotte and Andrade. One of the things I was curious about, I'm going to shift gears to AEW. Mm-hmm. Yeah, on screen you have Cody. I think we can call him Cody Rhodes now.
And then if you say Dustin's name after his, you could say it.
No,
you could say Dustin and Cody Rhodes because remember he used to be like, and bringing out Brandy and Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
So, it's a technical way you can get away with saying
Okay.
it.
Oh.
So Cody and Brandy Rhodes, I can do it that way, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
One on screen is a heel, other on screen is a babyface. And I was sitting there watching it the other day. I was like, has this ever been done where
I don't think I've ever seen it.
a legit couple not involved in a storyline, but not involved in a storyline together, but still are like essentially playing on two opposite sides of the fence?
Well, what's the name always kind of teetered the line anyway, as far as what Cody Rhodes is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
if he's a heel or a face.
Yeah. And I feel like he always just was like, switch back to this heel mode real quick.
Because, like, I'm sitting there watching, and, Cody's clearly a babyface right now, especially with all the stuff going on with MJF. Brandy's clearly a heel cutting these ladies' hair. So, like, eventually would there be, like, some sort of, like, hey, girl, what you doing? Or why are you acting that way?
I can tell you it's always been the opposite, though. I can tell you that men have always came out the heel.
Okay.
And the women was always baby faces.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Sable, Mark Maron. Was that his name? Mark Marrow. Right?
You talking about the podcaster and comedian. Yeah, but Mark Marrow, yeah.
Like Sable, there was always, you would always hype up the women.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even with Randy Savage and Elizabeth.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like she was definitely, clearly always babyface. She wouldn't cheat.
Yeah.
It was always Macho Man that was cheating.
But see, she was only heel one time in WCW.
But she was AWO.
Yeah, and that's when Randy Savage had the "What Up, Mach?" music.
Right.
Yeah,
But see, like now, these two aren't even.
It was her.
It was Gorgeous George.
And it was her.
It was Molly Holly. Back in the day. When she was Miss Max.
Oh, but remember though, eventually she left with Luger, and then her and Luger were dating in real life. So. But I don't actually think that this has happened before. But
and I know they're not together on storyline, but we all know, like,
yeah.
You wonder how it all comes together? Cody is the leader of the Dark Order, and the Dark Order is really the Nightmare Collective, and everything just mushes together.
Oh,
But that means those other people from Dark Order be gone?
No.
Because I'm not feeling that story.
A lot of people don't like the Dark Order.
Make some sense of it. This is what you tend to do.
Look, if it were me, I'm just saying, I don't know what kind of control they have, but I would be hoping that in March, Matt Hardy wants to come over to AEW when his contract goes up, and I would make Matt Hardy the leader of the Dark Order, and that will save everything. That's the only way I can make sense of it. Unless it's a really cool reveal of who's the actual leader when it comes out. But right now, look, the promo stuff that they do, the vignettes are cool. I just think it's not well established for the casual fan to actually like it, and for it to take TV time away from people that you're forced to watch on Dark that you don't even get to see on the product, to see these vignettes that nobody cares about because of the way they're showing them.
Right.
You know, put Sonny Kiss on the show. I don't want to see him on Dark. I want him on Dynamite. How about that?
So I assume you're excited about the new deal that they struck with.
Is Sonny Kiss on it?
I mean, I would think.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just joking. Yeah, I am happy. I mean, that's a lot of money that they have to play with now. 4 more years guaranteed. You know,
that's really cool.
On Turner broadcast. Hey, we might get TBS. You might have Dark now.
We're getting AEW Lightning.
Yeah, hey. And then we'll get Rainstorm.
Lightning, that's the name.
I think
that would be funny.
I mean, they took Dynamite. Ain't Dynamite some sort of nitrogen or something? You
yeah,
know?
That's true.
That's the first thing I thought when I saw when we was at. Remember when we was all at the first show and you saw boom? I was like, this is very nitro-ish.
Yeah.
So
it's like Jagged Edge and Rough Ends. Nobody realized that was the same name.
I never realized that.
Isn't that weird?
I think AEW should go to Tuesday night.
You think so? Or do you think that Dynamite should go, or the second show should be on Tuesday?
I think Dynamite should go.
Okay.
I think because we know for a fact that they had Tuesday Night Dynamite trademark a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I think that they should use it.
Yeah.
They saw what Vince McMahon was going to do.
Yeah.
Based on what they were going to do, and I think they should just switch back over. And then go ahead and put Dark on Wednesday.
Yeah, well,
right.
Is that tapping out?
Play your cards right.
I don't think it's tapping out. It depends on how you look at it.
Man.
Right, that's what's even if it.
Tapping out, like you're not gonna. You're a small business company. You're selling. You're like your mom and pop shop trying to outdo Walmart. Yeah. When it comes to Black Friday, ain't nobody fucking with your stuff. Yeah. They going to Walmart. Yeah. So it's like you got to know what you can do. Yeah. And why even try to compete against that monster when you could just grow over here? Like I'm not gonna visit you every time you're depressed. I want to see you when you're having your better days. So if Tuesday night is your better day, I'm coming to see you Tuesday. Yeah. You know what I mean? I'm here for you on Wednesday. I'm always here for you. But why? Let's flourish over here.
Yeah, it's like Nike and Under Armour. Like you Nike is a king of sports, right? Yeah. Under Armour has its own niche audience. They like high quality brand stuff that feels good on your body, running shoes that work, but it ain't Nike. Yeah. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be Nike.
Now, granted, you're gonna have.
It doesn't have to ever be this way.
You're gonna have different fans, so that some people want to watch this, some people want to watch that, right? But let's be honest, everybody that tunes in is not for that brand. Yeah. If when it comes to getting ratings, you know what I mean? Like even WWE, the Attitude Era, when they was pulling out millions at a time, half of that, probably less than half of that, were actually wrestling fans. The rest was just people that just want to see what's going on.
They want to know what the hoopla is about.
What is this I'm hearing about? So if you would just switch over so that you could get your casual fans and your regular fans on a different day, why not do it?
Well, I think the way that you accomplish that, not saying that this is what they're doing, is you got to make sure everybody's ego is checked at the door. Because who's to say that they're not running into people that are like, we're beating NXT. Like, let's just keep beating them down. We're beating them by 300,000 viewers.
But I refuse it. But that's like not thinking about the people that's putting money in your pocket. Because you You can't tell me TNT cares about what's happening with USA.
No, they don't at all.
You know what I mean? Or a competing company. They care about what you are bringing to their business. Mm-hmm. So it's like, do what's best for your partners.
And the big thing is, that's what we're going to see. We're going to see if that's what it's really about. Because if you look at every time, whether Cody has a Q&A or Kenny Omega has a Q&A, every time the first question, or one of the first questions is, how come you guys have not fixed your women's division yet? And they always say, it's coming. It's coming. How long is it going to be coming before you guys say, okay, we need to focus on that? So it's going to be the question of how long is it going to be for them to be like, all right, time to really focus, because they serious giving us 4 years. If they offer us Tuesdays, let's move over to that. You know,
which days would you choose? Because you got 2 days to work. Well, 7 days. You have to choose 2. Which ones would you choose?
Tuesday or Thursday? What else is on?
I would choose Thursday, because Thursday nothing is on Thursdays. But this is the thing though. Since you're working with Turner, you got to remember
basketball on Thursdays.
Okay.
Oh yeah, basketball, and you got to remember baseball if they have to use TBS. Mm-hmm. So it's just working that system too. Right. I would never choose Friday though.
Well, Thursday. Definitely.
Yeah, that's
so much
competition. Why would you ever
take wrestling out of the picture?
Yeah,
so much competition.
Yeah, and even like we were saying off the air and all that, like I was telling Ronald just about the amount of stuff that we DVR in my house on Wednesday nights. Mm-hmm. So much Saturday stuff comes on Wednesday nights.
Saturday,
maybe but people always are going to assume that people are out running the streets on Saturdays. That's true. Unless they're at an indie show.
Well, see, that's the thing, because I was thinking like. Remember Saturday 6:05 WCW Saturday night, but I mean, you know, the Indies wasn't.
It wasn't what it is.
It wasn't what it is now. You know,
but even with the Indies now, I mean, this show's running on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Sundays.
Yeah, I think we can have a late night wrestling show.
I was gonna ask you about Saturday mornings.
Saturday mornings, like after cartoons.
Around maybe 10 or 12. You know, like
I actually would like the Saturday morning show again. Just for nostalgia purposes. I don't know how long I would be invested in it.
I would say that's a good move for like maybe after that, like dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean for the secondary, but not
the main.
Not the main.
Yeah. Especially if you want to do live.
Yeah. Put Sonny Kiss on the show.
Early said, put Sonny Kiss on the show.
If you listen to this, just tweet that out.
Yeah, please.
Hey AEW, put Sonny Kiss on the show.
please.
All right, so we're about to wrap up. Any final thoughts as we, bridge into the 2020? Well, we're already in 2020, but as we look forward to, as we are now getting ready to be on the road to WrestleMania.
For me, I'm very interested in this WrestleMania because I may be going to Tampa. If you guys don't know the amount of shows that are happening WrestleMania weekend, I could have sworn somebody told me it was 106 shows happening.
They did that in Orlando. Goodness.
You know, like Ronald Valance. If you guys had the experience of WrestleMania weekend, it's one of the craziest things in the world. 106 shows. I'm gonna repeat that. If this is
how can you see all of those things?
You can't, and it starts like the Monday. You know, what I'm excited for is it's funny because I hear Valance say this a lot. The mistakes that any company are having, I hope that in this road to what is the biggest show on earth for all the shows, people start seeing their mistakes, capitalizing on them, and doing not only what's best for business, but what's going to keep people invested in the product when this season is over. That goes for WWE, AEW, MLW, ROH, Impact,
ABC, DVD.
You know, but I'm just looking forward to seeing what is our next. Basically, what's the next season of main events for these shows? Not more so Impact, but whatever they do, whatever. But shout out to the people actually like that or that. But yeah, everybody else.
Why you shit?
That's my final thought.
What's my Jerry Springer final thought? I've always said this time and time again, man. I'm just looking to be entertained. You know what I mean? I just want wrestling to be entertaining. That's all. It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. I've always kept up with wrestling because for a while I was enjoying the video games more than the wrestling. So I would check back.
That didn't happen this year.
No, not at all. Not even a little bit. This game has frustrated me. I take it This game has frustrated me as much as the shit that's coming on TV.
I get that.
You know what I mean? Like, at least there's like things that can clearly be fixed in the game. I don't know what the fuck they doing on TV.
I told Brian really quick. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was doing the Four Horsemen thing on there, and I had to do the match with Charlotte versus Natalya, and it's like Brett and Rick on the outside. At the beginning of the match, there were 3 Ric Flairs on the outside.
Just randomly appear.
3 Ric Flair. It was a Ric Flair lumberjack match basically, and then after we hit the first cutscene, all of them disappeared except the one.
Folks, he's not lying.
I was in shock. I turned it off after the match.
I've sent Blake pictures of stuff I done seen on my screen, and then the emojis like, oh.
I mean, I've been waiting for that Raw and SmackDown patch to come out for like about 3 years now.
Yeah.
It ain't come out yet.
Yeah.
Where the patch at?
Well, isn't AEW supposed to be coming out with a video game?
We'll see.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
I haven't played.
Isn't Yuke supposed to? Is that the one? Okay.
It's so many, rumors.
And I haven't played. What's that? Fire Pro Wrestling.
Oh, that was fun.
That was really good.
It was fun the first week because here's
Yeah,
what the thing that messed it up
That's
was.
fun for a day.
No, because
Thanks, so I ain't about to waste my money.
So what you had to do, like, to create your people and like, remember how you used to download?
I'm sorry, the referee got knocked over.
Oh, God.
He's
Remember
like,
when
damn.
you used to download the packs, Ronald, on the old 5 Pro, and we would have like, all the crazy stuff. In order to do it with the 5 Pro, you had to log into the website and you had to put in basically your you had to put in your PlayStation password and your thing, and people were very uncomfortable with just putting that on a New Japan, on a 5 Pro website.
I mean, if that's a way to get it, I don't know.
It made people very uncomfortable. They were like, "How come we can't just download it?"
Yeah,
but,
I wanna get back into it. I just moved. I hooked my PlayStation up. I really like Fire Pro. It's a good game.
Okay.
It takes some getting used to though. It
Team
really is. Huh?
Team PlayStation up in this piece.
Oh boy! Don't get me started on this crazy argument. But yeah.
What's your final thoughts, Ronald?
Final thoughts are, I just want to see a good product like everybody else. I don't like WWE logic when it comes to wrestlers. Sometimes, like, good people are good people. It doesn't matter what they look like. It doesn't matter, how beautiful they are or ugly they are to people. They should be good wrestlers. Yeah. That's what matters. Charismatic people that can wrestle. That's what wins. And stop trying to make people who aren't these things
be those things.
Be those things.
Because there's nothing worse than somebody trying to be something that they're not.
Yeah. It shows.
It shows every day.
Yeah.
In life.
In everything.
In everything it shows. So, like, if you want people to, I understand it's like half acting.
Yeah, absolutely.
But these people aren't trained actors.
Yeah.
They're professional athletes.
Yeah.
And if you want them to do something that's relatable character-wise, give them something that's more truer to who they actually are. Yeah. And a lot of these wrestlers, I'm realizing, are nerds. You know what I mean? They're just like regular gamer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like you clean up the business to get the alcoholics and the drug users and all them out of the way. So now that you have just these people that are all about their bodies and taking care of themselves and wellness and are into, other stuff, you have to bring everything over around the business to that as well.
Yeah. I agree. And one more thing, bro, before you say anything, look, on the AEW thing, I'm just going to say this, like, fix that women's division. That's all I ask for.
And put Sonny Kiss on TV.
Sonny Kiss on TV, and just that women's division, man. Like, that women's division deserves justice, and please clean up your mistakes, because as somebody that works with women and has been working in the women's division for years now, you guys got the talent. Just please be the year to give it some focus like you've done everything else on the TV.
And I always thought that AEW kind of had this YouFundMe aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like GoFundMe. YouFundMe. Well, it's like GoFundMe where it's like, okay, now that it's there, I feel like you should outsource to fix these problems. Yeah. You can get some help to make a better product for the people that
I know a guy who works in the women's division that'd be really good to them. I'm not saying any names myself.
So Brian, what are
Well,
your final thoughts?
when you brought up the whole outsourcing thing, it just made me think like when I first saw AEW and first saw the television product, I should say, I'm like, man, that doesn't look like they have wrestling people doing the production.
Right.
You know, yeah, they got people who know how to produce TV, but it's a whole different mindset because even if, say, you don't know how to operate a switcher, Valance, you would know, hey, you know what? This is a spot. We need this camera angle. We need that camera angle because you've been consuming the business so long.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm hoping that, we start to see that change because the thing is, my final thought is that I really want to see AEW succeed because at the end of the day, if they succeed, the business succeeds, and it's when they start succeeding, it's going to make WWE put their best foot forth. It's going to make people in the indies put their best foot forth because they're going to want to get to that level. Yeah. And it's just, if everybody put their best foot forth, we're going to have good wrestling. So that's what I want to see.
Facts.
I want to get excited this year about WrestleMania season. I'm not, to be honest with you. Mm-hmm. For the first time, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to go to WrestleMania. Mm. And usually every year, I'm like, man, I want to be there. But now I'm just like, you know what? I don't necessarily have to be. Now, granted, if somebody say, hey, we want you to come down and work, or we got some tickets, I'm gone. But it's not like a desire that I usually have. And I just think it's because the way I'm seeing is it's no clear-cut vision. Last year, we didn't know we was getting Kofi in that spot, but we knew we was going to have a prominent role for Seth Rollins. We knew it was going to be a prominent role for Becky Lynch. Right. And then everything else was going to fall around. I don't know who's going to have a prominent role this year. I don't even know. Only thing I'm pretty sure is Brock is going to be champ. So that's the thing. Maybe it's just a crossroad period where it's really hard to see, who's that guy, I'm really cheering for in the next level. If Adam Cole was on the main roster, then it would be probably him more than likely. Right. Just because of watching, everything that he's done getting up there. If Bianca Belair was on the main roster, then probably, and in a situation where she was ready to compete for the women's championship, then it would be her. Yeah. But right now, it's nobody. Like I said, Dan Bryan, my favorite wrestler, but I don't need to see him as champion. AJ Styles, been there, done that. Randy Orton, been there, done that. So there's nobody I want to see in that. There's nobody right now that I'm like, man, I really want to see this person.
When I listen to you talking and I'm going down the roster, I gotta ask you guys this question: is it telling that Johnny Nitro, John Morrison, is it telling that he had his first match on Raw? Is it telling of what they plan on doing with him by how they're handling it so far?
Sticking with the Miz again?
To
me, it looks like more to help get some heat behind the Miz more than anything.
We could at least have the idea of him debuting at WrestleMania and possibly winning.
Oh, Royal Rumble.
I meant to say Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
Possibly winning Royal Rumble and going on the WrestleMania.
Like if he's in a Final Four of it.
They just did not give us, is this telling? Because it could still happen. But the fact that they just tossed him right in there, just a throwaway match, what does that mean?
It lets me know that Morrison and Miz will be facing the New Day at WrestleMania if they drag it out that long on a pre-show.
You know what? The issue I have with Morrison, so this is somebody I rooted for back in the 2011. I just knew he was going to beat the Miz.
When he became John Morrison?
Yeah, I just knew he was going to beat the Miz at SummerSlam and become champion. Didn't happen. You're a heel. And if you go back and read Bret Hart's book, he talks about when him and Owen put together that match at WrestleMania 10 and how they had to change the match around because it was showcasing all Owen's ability and athletic ability. But he's like, wait, if we do this, he's going to get cheered. Mm-hmm. Why is Morrison doing these fancy moves where a normal heel, like Sammy Guevara, is like, nope, I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I've been watching wrestling long enough. I know, if you're the heel, you're not supposed to do that type of stuff. I mean, maybe I'm missing something.
Right.
Well, this is another thing, and I'm a big John Morrison fan too, but this is what upsets me that WWE does. I don't like when somebody comes back and they're like, you know what? you're going to be the persona you were when you left here.
Right.
I don't like that. Like, let him be mayor of Slamtown, what he was in the Indies and Lucha Underground and Impact and all that. You know, let us see that one. I feel like the only person that's like kind of the new version of him, but they still don't let him shine as much, is Drew McIntyre and then Bobby Lashley. They're the only like kind of ones. But Valance, you bring up a good point about the you know, kind of telling and where that was, you know. But what you were saying too, Brian, about how everybody gets better if AEW succeeds, I agree with that, and I also agree with it because, like, I don't know if you guys watch like NWA Power. Like, 1 hour NWA Power is extremely entertaining. MLW is extremely entertaining. You know, I don't watch ROH as much anymore. I mean, I do, but I don't, but I do. And I don't have Access TV, so I don't watch Impact. And yeah, you know, it's Impact. So, you know, but it will make everybody better. So, yeah, rooting on that too. But damn, Valance, you kind of messed my head up with this talent thing. Now I'm sad.
Sorry.
It's just funny that I remember a time where it was a dream that you could watch wrestling every night of the week.
Yeah.
And I remember when ECW first came on Tuesday nights when they brought it back. And I was like, oh man, we get wrestling on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday for WWE. And then I think Impact Man came on Thursdays at that time. Yeah. So it's like, wow, we're getting all this wrestling. But now we getting it literally, but it's like, it's too much. I don't think, and maybe because of our access to technology, and we're always just, you know, we're in a microwave society. But I also think you blame the companies in some cases for not hooking our attention like an AEW to make me want to say, I cannot miss this. You know, that Friday night SmackDown, the one Blake always said was the greatest SmackDown ever. I was away. I was at my all-class reunion. I get a text from him. I hope you watching SmackDown right now. I'm actually on my way home. This may be the greatest SmackDown ever. You know, and it was an accident. You know, God forbid, I don't want nothing to ever happen like that to the wrestlers again.
Yeah.
But I want that urgency.
Huh? Just to know it's possible.
Yeah, like we saw when they got their backs against the wall,
Yeah.
They could do stuff. And maybe that's the problem. They overproducing. They're like, maybe y'all need to have your backs against the wall everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Well, it's funny, too, because like this, there was a time, it was a couple weeks ago on our last show, and Ronald was like, oh, you know, I don't really know about what she's saying about, you know, having Kobe and the best wrestler of the year. You know, he said that, right?
He still ain't.
But I just want to throw this in his face. I don't know if you noticed, but like PWI, they named their wrestler of the year, and it was Adam Cole, baby. So at least I know it's just not me. Oh,
God.
Throw that UE up.
I don't even know what it is.
Oh,
so I just wanted to throw that in Ronald's face because I didn't know when I would get a chance to do it.
Mission accomplished.
Well, fellas, it was always an honor and a pleasure, man. Definitely. It's always good, you know, we sit down and talk wrestling. We let the world in on this conversation. We've been together the past few hours, but, you know, being able to actually do this for the podcast, both podcasts, you know, make sure you subscribe to both shows. 3 Dope Dudes and the Mic, that's available anywhere you get your podcast from. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, any other places I'm missing?
MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace. Definitely MySpace.
MySpace, Black Planet.
We had to
Plenty of fish.
We had to go back and collect them Negroes up. But make sure we hit everybody.
Yeah, make sure you subscribe to them. You can catch a conversation with them 3. Like I said, you heard me talk about them, so I had to bring them on, break it down with Brian H., folks. So, you know the deal. Subscribe to the show. Till next time, so long, everybody.
You know what it is. It's Funk Flex. Hot Dot 7.
Dang, the Chiefs going to the Super Bowl.
I know. Yo, you.